Yeah.
It would be a very different movie.
Yeah, well, then you would be more likely to believe the "It's all a dream."
Yeah.
If if he was just some kind of computer nerd who worked in a cubicle, as opposed to a big, strong. He is Cohagen's right hand muscle man spy. Mm-hmm. So would a Colin Farrell work?
See. When they made the Total Recall reboot. That's the reason I was actually excited. Not that I hate the original Total Recall, it's just like, oh, I finally get to see what this would be like if there was just somebody more average as the lead. And then I got that, and I was like, oh, this kind of sucks.
That movie, let's really quickly visit Total Recall 2012.
Yeah.
Because I watched it. I didn't hate it. It's utterly
okay.
Okay. I had issue with the casting. Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel both look similar. They're both brunettes. You know what I mean? They like.
What are you talking about?
You need that contrast, like Melina and Sharon Stone.
Right.
Very different looking. And so an interesting note was that the Jessica Biel part, Kate Beckinsale is his fake wife. She's the Sharon Stone character.
Yeah.
Which they merged Sharon Stone and Michael Ironside into one character.
That kind of ruins the character, too, because I understand why Michael Ironside has a hard-on to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger, because Arnold has been banging his girl, thinking that, she was his wife for 6 weeks. And that's why he really wants to murder Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have no idea why Kate Beckinsale or?
Beckinsale.
I have no idea why Kate Beckinsale has such a hard-on to kill Colin Farrell in the reboot.
She's a bad guy who works for Bryan Cranston.
That's stupid.
Bryan Cranston is Cohagen, and he's bad guy. Also, if Sharon Stone gets bumped off rather quickly in Total Recall 1990, Kate Beckinsale gets merged with Michael Ironside so she can continue on throughout the entire film. Do you know why?
Why?
Because her husband is the director.
Ah!
A guy named Len Wiseman, who directed all those Underworld movies starring Kate Beckinsale. Len Wiseman, strangely enough, kind of looks like Colin Farrell in real life.
Interesting.
So it was, I'm going to make my wife star in this movie. They've since been divorced. But the Jessica Biel character, the Resistance girl, was originally supposed to be played by Scarlett Johansson, a blonde, which would have made sense. But Scarlett Johansson had a prior commitment. It was called The Avengers, and she didn't want to break that commitment.
She made the right choice.
I would say she made the right choice. But yeah, I don't know. I was I like Bryan Cranston. I was happy to see him in the film. He's not a good Cohagen. He is no Ronnie Cox. Can I talk real quick?
Please talk about Ronnie Cox.
Well, can I talk about 3 of the greatest movie/TV villains ever appear in Total Recall? And I don't know if you noticed this. We, of course, have Michael Ironside.
I know exactly who you're going to bring up.
Yes, you do, because you're Rich Evans. We got Michael Ironside, we got Ronnie Cox, some of Paul Verhoeven's favorites, and we also got the guy who plays Gul Dukat as the top lieutenant in the Mars Space Police.
He's basically just in one scene, right?
He's in a bunch of scenes.
Is he in a bunch?
Yeah. He's always walking up to Michael Ironside going, Sir, we got a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
it's a small role, but his name's Mark.
Didn't notice him at the time because he wasn't fucking Gul Dukat yet, but.
Yes, yes, but ooh, the trifecta. The trifecta of the meanest, ugliest men who have ever lived.
I'm afraid it's time to erase those memories for good.
And then you have Bryan Cranston in the remake, and Bryan Cranston,
he's too as dry as the Total Recall reboot is. Bryan Cranston is hamming it up too much compared to everyone else in that movie.
Yeah.
Whereas, just in the tone of original Total Recall, Ronnie Cox, his over-the-top villain fits right in with the over-the-top feel of the rest of the movie.
Yes. Fun fact, you never watched Breaking Bad, right?
I know a little bit about it, but I never watched it.
Well, I discovered Dean Norris, who was a major character in Breaking Bad, was the man with the deformed vagina face.
Oh yeah.
One of the mutants, and he was in Breaking Bad. In the 1990 Total Recall, Bryan Cranston was in the 2012. Little bit of a connection.
It's crowded visually, that movie, I would say.
I mean, that's the story, is that they're running out of living space, which is why Cohagen wants to invade the colony and kill everyone and rebuild buildings.
He wants more room for the Britain Empire to expand.
Yes.
And so he's going to kill everyone down south to do it.
Yeah.
It's very, very almost unnecessarily evil.
Yeah, Cohagen just wanted to sell air and make a lot of money, but other Cohagen, Bryan Cranston Cohagen, wanted to kill everyone, and there were lots of Asian people. Originally, the colony was supposed to be called New Asia.
Well, the culture and that part of the movie is very Asian.
Yeah, it's a very Blade Runner-y Asian.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of that kind of culture down there, because if you figure the whole world is covered in toxic gas, where does Asia run to? Down to Australia. So
I also noticed in the reboot a lot of the cities they're in the Australian side seem to be like built over water. So I'm assuming the implication is they ran out of room on the land and they're actually building out into the sea.
They show a graphic that where the population is, and I think they're mostly along the coast.
Yeah.
And then same with England. It doesn't matter. The point is, the fall is a giant thing that shoots through the center of the earth. Mm-hmm. Halfway through, it has a gravity flip. It's silly.
It's cute.
But it makes for a great set piece at the end. Obviously, they're going to have a fight on it, and halfway through, they're going to float around in 0 Gs and shoot guns. And
you want to nitpick about science? The whole way down, they should basically be in free fall. That's like when you're in a roller coaster or something. You're in a ride in an amusement park that drops down. You're technically in 0 G on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So as they're falling towards the center, they should be like floating the whole way, kind of like the Vomit Comet.
Yeah, you know, I really don't know that much about planetary gravity once you start going towards the core of the
I don't
planet.
know about towards the core, but I know falling, they shouldn't be like sitting down once they start falling at terminal velocity. They should all be floating. But whatever. It should be very similar to being in orbit.
Yeah. Logically, I know the center of the Earth is a giant ball of iron that is surrounded, that is constantly spinning, which is what generates the electromagnetic field that protects us from the sun.
Your tunnel would fucking melt. It doesn't make any sense.
It has Star Trek shields around it.
And the reboot is too dry for that to work.
Yeah.
It's so dry that when you start doing the silly stuff, like we're drilling a hole through the earth, that starts to fall apart. Like everything else is so dry. How can you do this cartoony thing now?
Yeah. What do you get out of that movie? What do you get out of that movie?
I like the hand cell phone. I thought, you know what? I thought that was a neat bit of technology.
Sure.
They just implant phones in your hand and their hands kind of glow. That was neat. Hello? Hello? Anyone there? Hello? Hello? Anyone there? Total Recall, is it like the last of the 80s action movies?
It is a transitionary film. We'll talk a little bit about the visuals, special